Hi, I'm Paula Jean Harrison from the FinTech Times, and I'm here with Philip McGriskin from Vitesse. Hi Philip, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much. Would you like to give yourself a bit of an introduction first about yourself and the company?
Absolutely. Philip McGriskin, Chief Executive and Founder of Vitesse PSP. Vitesse PSP is a UK-based FCA-regulated business, and we focus on providing payment and treasury services to the insurance industry.
Fantastic. And so, in your opinion, how has the pandemic affected the Insurtech and insurance industries?
I think there are so many different effects that it's had. The types of covers that are offered and how people are actually paying claims, or whether or not they're paying claims, are sort of some of the big public topics that have come out. But I think sort of maybe ones that are sort of slightly lesser obvious is a move to things like electronic placement in some of the big markets in London. We focus globally, but we do provide a lot of our services into the London market. I think that historically the businesses in London market have not been so focused on optimising and moving forward with the digitisation pace and the agenda that we see elsewhere. I think that the pandemic, when the marketplace was shut, forced a lot of these businesses to leap forward into moving more into that digitisation piece, the electronic placing. I think that's probably the biggest thing that sort of I've seen close to me, that as one of many changes. That would be the big one that I'd call out.
Yeah, absolutely. And sort of following on from that then, what have been some of the major hallmarks and trends in Insurtech over the last 3 or so years?
Well, I think that this move to digitisation has started to see a lot of other types, or I guess ways of placing business. So we're seeing embedded insurance coming through. We're seeing elements of parametric covers that are being used to sort of make things more efficient for businesses. And then again, I would just say the whole sort of digitisation agenda sort of coming through.
Yeah, and there's digitisation sort of tying into the idea of the pandemic and how that has affected things.
Absolutely, and I think the pandemic has been the kickstarter for it. I think that the pandemic was the moment when people said we don't have an option as to whether or not we do this. But I do think that there was an inexorable move towards it anyway, because I just see that the rest of the world moves on so quickly in terms of e-commerce and how people are sort of interacting with each other using online more and more. I think insurance has sort of been a bit slow to that game, and I think sort of just at the same time as the pandemic hit, I think people were coming to the realisation that this was not going to stop, and we needed to sort of start getting on board or we would start to lose our customers. And I think the whole thing crushed together to move it forward, a big step at one time, which is good for businesses like us, good for consumers, and I think it's good for the industry because it means that they're saving money and hopefully becoming more efficient.
Yeah, absolutely, fantastic. And so how are emerging technologies such as blockchain and artificial intelligence, how are they impacting the insurance industry at the moment?
So the genesis of Vitesse is actually a payments business, and my history, although I was a Lloyd's broker a long time ago, is also payments. And I've been looking at blockchain, distributed ledger, Bitcoin, and things like that quite heavily. I don't think that any of the payment elements of the distributed ledger and blockchain are going to be seen in the insurance industry for some time yet. But I think the exchange of information has been a big win for the market, being able to sort of guarantee that something has left somewhere and gone somewhere else. And I think that will continue. We know quite a few businesses that are using it on an intra-company basis. We don't know so many businesses that are using it on an inter-company basis, but I'd say based on the success that some of these guys have had using it within their groups, we'll start to see it come out as well. But I would sort of stand back from saying anything on the payment side of things. I think the only areas where we see the distributed ledger and blockchain coming into it is for sort of nefarious payments that are being requested by people who are doing the wrong things. So great in terms of information exchange, intra-company, and it will move out to the sort of cross-company stuff, I think.
Perfect, fantastic. And so what technology is needed in Insurtech? Where is the industry falling behind and how can tech really help that?
Well, I'm sort of obliged to answer this question only one way because I run a business that's to do with payments and treasury. I'm going to say it's payments and treasury. But we just see time and time again the insurance companies focus on making the first notification of loss as efficient as possible for a consumer, and they spend a lot of money on bringing excellent assessors and third-party administrators and delegated claims authorities into play to make it as good as they can for the customer. And once all that's done and the claim's ready to pay, there's no money there or the payment gets delayed. And I think that that's just a very simple, broken element of insurance that could be fixed easily. And I think that technology lends itself ideally to fixing those problems. I think it's not just about the payment side of things, it's about having the treasury as well. So I think you need to be able to use technology to sort of make sure that you got your money in the right place at the right time, and then you can use the technology and the payments to make sure that you're getting great customer outcomes. So those would be the things that I would say to focus on.
Perfect, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you very much for having me. Cheers.
Thank you.